Hi guys, so I am home in Scotland. As you can see, I'm back to my old background. And this is the first video that I've filmed since I've been back. So I thought that I would do a bit of a travel related video and give you some of my kind of travel tips and things that I've learned from my trip to Australia. So that hopefully that can help any of you guys if you decide to go travelling in the future. I got home last Saturday, so it's been just over a week now. This is Monday, and the jet lag, it was weird. For the first couple of days I felt like I had completely escaped it, which was weird because I didn't sleep at all on the flight. I tried and failed miserably, but I did watch a lot of good films and TV shows, which I've done a blog post on, so I'll link that in the description box, so go and check that out. And I've done a few film reviews. But yeah, I didn't sleep at all and I figured I'd be really jet lagged, but until maybe the Monday night or Tuesday kind of lunchtime, I felt fine. Everyone was really surprised. My family and my friends were sort of like, why are you so awake? And I thought I'd been really lucky and escaped it, but by the Tuesday evening I'd started to feel a bit rubbish, and for a couple of days after that I felt really tired. I was falling asleep really easily, and ooh, screen's gone dark. So yeah, I think I was a little bit jet lagged. So anyway, on with the topic at hand, which, as I said, is going to be travel tips and advice and things that I feel like I learned while I was away. And I was only away for 2 months, but you do get a kind of pretty good idea of what you should and shouldn't sort of know for going travelling in Australia. So without further ado, here are my top 5 tips for travelling to Australia. Tip number 1. Please be prepared money-wise. Do not go over to Australia with virtually no money and assume that you'll get a job right away and it'll all be fine, because that does not happen. They say have the equivalent of 5,000 Australian dollars in your bank account if you're going on a working holiday visa, that is, for a reason. They don't just say it for the sake of it. I was there for 2 months, and in that time only really 2 of my friends managed to get a job. Even in hospitality, it was proving quite tricky and everyone was getting a bit stressed. And thankfully for most of us, we had enough money saved to get us by, and that was fine. But for the couple of people who didn't have quite as much money saved and who were maybe chancing it that they'd managed to get a job fairly easily, that's not the case. You kind of are under the impression when you go over there that jobs are plentiful and it'll be fine and you'll get there, and especially in hospitality and the sort of tourist industry, you kind of assume that you'll get a job pretty easily, and that really wasn't the case. A lot of us really struggled. I made the decision sort of halfway through my trip that I wasn't going to look for a job anyway, and just come home early after just travelling, so that was fine. But for the people who didn't, money was really stressful. You are spending, they said, something like average $270 a week for living, and that was rent and food and travel. Sydney in particular, I mean, Australia is a pricey place, but Sydney in particular is very expensive. So please, if you're thinking about going travelling, save up a lot of money before you go. Save up a good amount of money, at least the $5,000, which equates to about £3,000, 3,000 UK pounds. Save up that amount of money, definitely, because if you don't, you're going to be under quite a lot of stress, because some people will be lucky enough to get a job right away. If you're not quite so lucky, staying even in hostels before you're getting sort of a flat or any other sort of shared accommodation really just eats into your money. So please be sensible and save up a good amount of money. Tip number 2, and this one's a really, really obvious one, or it sounds like a really obvious one, but be very, very careful with sun cream and applying suntan lotion very frequently, and don't be silly and just think, oh, it'll be alright, I put some on and that'll last me the day or whatever. Make sure that you put plenty sun cream on, because me and my friends Gemma and Emily did find that a couple of times we got quite bad burns, and I was really sensible, and the first time we went to the beach I was covered in sun cream from head to toe, factor 30, being, you know, very sensible, and completely covered myself from head to toe, which I hate doing because I'm lazy and I don't like putting on sun cream because it's sticky and annoying. But we'd done that and we were fine, went to the beach, and I went for a paddle down in the water. I didn't go swimming, I just went for a paddle, and it just didn't seem to occur to me that water would wash off my sun cream from me. I didn't seem to think that that would be an issue, and didn't put any sun cream back on my feet, and severely burnt the tops of my feet in a very attractive pattern around the straps of my sandals. So be sensible and remember that if you go for a swim or you go for a paddle or anything like that, put on sun cream, and remember the silly places like your hands and your feet, round strap marks and places like that, because if you don't, you're going to end up quite sore. So remember your sun cream, factor 30 at least. Tip number 3, and this one kind of ties in with the last one. It is weather related, but take a really good selection of clothes. And obviously if you're going traveling, you're not going to be able to take you can't take your whole wardrobe, which after a few weeks you start to miss your clothes from home. But do try and make sure you have a good variety whatever time of year you're going over to Australia in, because we travelled over in the sort of autumn time. We arrived in March, which was, or should have been, going into autumn, and it was actually still really hot, and in my head I thought I was going to be there for the autumn period, and so I had like a couple of extra pairs of jeans, leggings, and I didn't have enough pairs of shorts. So please take a good variety of clothes, take trousers, take shorts, take skirts, a good selection, because sometimes you do find that it gets quite cold at night, or a lot cooler anyway, and you want a jumper or something to wrap up in. Even in winter time and probably springtime, you will get some really hot days. At least if you're from Britain and you're not used to particularly hot weather, you will find it quite warm a lot of the time, even when it's not the middle of summer. So do take shorts, skirts, nice things to keep you nice and cool when the weather's a little bit hotter. So definitely keep that in mind. Another thing to please take, because I didn't and this was a problem, take sensible footwear. Now, by that, I didn't take a single pair of heels to Australia with me. I'm not really a heels wearer, but my mum said to me before I left, "Are you taking a pair of trainers?" And I said, "No, I don't think I'll really need them. I'm not really the outdoorsy type, so I don't do, or didn't think I was going to do an awful lot of, mountain climbing or anything." However, when I got there, I went on a lovely coastal walk round Bondi and round a lot of the beaches in Sydney. I went to the Blue Mountains, I climbed up there. When I went to Palm Beach, where they film Home and Away, I walked up the hill to Barrenjoey, which is the lighthouse, and did an awful lot of walking, and I had completely flat sandals or a little pair of like flat gym shoes. I didn't have hiking boots or proper trainers with a good sturdy sole, and there's so many beautiful walks to go on that you don't want to deprive yourself and not go on them. So even if you think, oh, I won't be doing all that much kind of, proper outdoorsy stuff, which a lot of people who are travelling will be sensible and know that they'll be likely to do, do take a pair of sensible shoes with a good sole so that you don't end up with incredibly sore feet and calf muscles after you've been on a long walk. Tip number 4, speak slowly and be prepared for the fact that despite the fact that it is an English speaking country, it's a very diverse country that has, it's Sydney in particular, such a multicultural city. You've got so many different nationalities, and there will be plenty of times where you will order something in a bar or order something in a restaurant or ask someone a question and they won't know what you say and you'll have to repeat yourself. So if, like me, you have a tendency to speak very, very quickly, slow it down and you will find that you are much more likely to be understood. Accents are a funny thing because you're speaking the same language as people, and yet the number of times that I would go to order something and have to repeat myself twice or 3 times was crazy. And you kind of assume, you go, oh well, it's Australia, there's not a language barrier, which of course there's not, and that's great, but do speak slowly and be prepared for the fact that you might occasionally have to repeat what you say, and it's not that, like you speak poorly, it just is simply an accent thing. I got used to that quite quickly. The number of times it happened to me within the first week, I was like, here we go. Got to Australia from Hong Kong thinking, yay, an English speaking country, it'll be fine. Didn't really make much of a difference. Tip number 5, and this is the most important one and the one that I've really learned to sort of embrace since I was over there, and that is just enjoy yourself and do whatever it is that you want to do to make the trip the ideal trip for you. I went over there thinking to myself, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to work for a month, and I'm going to travel for 2, and then I'm going to see, you know, what I want to do after that, and I'm going to figure out my plans around that. And I got there and I knew in my gut within the first few weeks that I just didn't really want to get a job. And aside from that, getting a job was proven to be incredibly difficult, and I thought, I don't want to end up sad and frustrated and hating being here when it's such an amazing opportunity. So whatever it is that you want to do when you are away travelling, do it. Go and see the places that you want to see, spend time in the areas that you want to spend, and just really enjoy yourself and make it the trip for you. Do not let anyone else tell you what you should do or where you should go or how you should spend your time when you're travelling, because this is your trip and you want to go home with the memories that are happy and exciting for you and that you'll hold on to forever. You do not want to go over there and be pressured into doing something that you don't want to do. Like week 1 for me, I signed up for a surf camp, and within a day I knew, like, I am the least likely person in the history of time to go surfing. It's just not my thing, and I signed up for it because everyone else in the group that I flew over with was signing up for surf camp, and I thought, I don't want to be left out. I'm 23 years old. I got over the peer pressure thing when I left high school, and suddenly I found myself back in this scary, intense environment thinking, oh, I'm at the other side of the world. Do I really want to not do what everyone else is doing? And it was $500, so within a day I got my money back, and I, you know, gave myself a pat in the back and said, good, don't do something that you don't want to do just because everyone else is doing it. Equally, if there's something that you want to do or somewhere that you want to go that no one else wants to do, don't let that stop you. I wanted to go to Melbourne and none of my friends could afford to or wanted to go to Melbourne at that time. They all wanted to save up and stay in Sydney and go to Melbourne later on in their trips. For me, that wasn't an option because I wanted to come home after 2 months, and so I went to Melbourne on my own. Was it a bit scary to think I was going to this big city at the other side of the world by myself? Yes. I thought, I'm going to be staying in the hostel on my own and I'll be exploring on my own. Thankfully, one of my friends from uni had just moved to Melbourne, so I had dinner with her both of the nights that I was there, and we went to the museum together. But for the rest of the time that I was there, I was on my own, exploring on my own, and I had such a good time. It was absolutely amazing, and please don't let anyone put you off doing what you want to do or going to the places that you want to go, because it's your trip, so do what you want to do and you'll have an amazing time. Tying in with point 5 that I just made there, I've actually done a piece for an amazing website called Girl Gone International. I'm going to link that in the description below and you can go and read that, and they have been absolutely amazing and included my travel vlogs on their website, so that's pretty exciting. And it's a really great website. It's focusing on women living abroad and working abroad, and it's all aspects of travel and fantastic people contributing, so definitely go and check that out. As I said, I'll leave a link in the description box below, so go and have a look, and I really hope that you enjoy that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now. I'm really pleased to be home. I had the best trip and such an incredible time in Australia. Massive thank you to my aunt and uncle who were absolutely amazing. They and my cousins let me stay with them for you know, a chunk of my trip, and spent sort of an amazing few weeks with them, so it was great. And I made some brilliant friends through the group flight with Bunak, who I know I'm going to stay in contact with forever. So it was brilliant, but it's been so nice to be home, seeing my family, seeing my friends. I've already been to a blogger event. I went to the INAA Scottish Hair and Beauty Awards event, which was last Monday, and it was great. I'm going to do a blog post on it, but I haven't quite got around to it yet. And I'm going to another blogger event on Wednesday. It's in Harvey Nichols in Edinburgh, and it's the Grazia Live beauty parlour, so I'm really excited for that, and I will make a video on that once it's happened. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it there, but thanks very much for watching, and thank you so much for following along with my travel vlogs, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye!